Hello everybody, welcome back for lesson 3 on addition. We are going to be continuing our learning on writing expressions today. We're going to start our learning today by recapping on some learning from yesterday. So I'd like you to have a close look at the picture of the fingers and the expression underneath. And I want you to have a think about whether the expression matches the picture, whether it's true, or whether the expression doesn't match the picture, whether it's false. And I'd like you to think about explaining your thinking in a full sentence. So I'd like you to begin your sentence with, this is true because, or this is false because. So I'd like you to pause your video now and share your thinking with your adult. And you might be able to think of more than one reason you want to challenge yourselves. Shall we see if you got it right? So is it true or is it false? It is false. Okay, so I'm going to share my thinking and my reasoning, and I want you to listen closely. It's false because I can see 5 fingers on one hand and I can see 2 fingers on the other hand. So the correct expression should be 5 plus 2, or 5 add 2. I wonder now if you can challenge yourselves by thinking of how we can make sure that the picture does match the expression. How can we make this true instead of false? So pause the video, have a think, and share your thinking with your adult. So I thought of 2 different ways that we could make that picture and that expression match so that they are true, so that they match and they're correct. So I'm going to share the first way now, and I wonder if it's similar to what you were thinking and to what you explained to your adult. Okay, so the first thing I thought to do was to change that second addend so that instead of saying 5 plus 5, it now says 5 plus 2. And I know that the 5 represents the 5 fingers on this hand and that the 2 represents the 2 fingers on this hand. Now, there's another way that we can change the picture and the expression to make sure that it is true. And I'm going to share that with you now. So maybe some of you thought about doing it this way. So instead of changing the addends in the expression, I can actually change the picture. So instead of having 2 fingers on this second hand, I can have 5 fingers on this second hand so that the picture can match the expression. So now if we look at this second picture, the 5 represents the 5 fingers on the first hand, and this second addend, the 5 represents the fingers on this second hand. So there are 2 different ways that we can change the image to make it correct, to make it true. So it's interesting, isn't it? Sometimes there's more than one answer to a question, and you often find that with maths, and that's a way that we can challenge ourselves by thinking of lots of different reasons and lots of different answers to the same question. So you might have even thought of a different way to change the expressions and the pictures to make them correct. Well done if you did. Okay, on to the next part of our learning. This was our practice activity from yesterday, and well done if you had a go at completing that task. I'm going to share with you what I did to complete this practice activity. So, I had some donuts and I put them into 2 tens frames. And you can see them clearly, can't you? There's a top tens frame with some donuts in, and there are some donuts in the bottom tens frame. And I thought of an expression that I could use to match my picture of donuts. Can you pause the video here and read that expression to your adult, or you can read it to me? That's right, we can write this as 3 plus 4, or 3 add 4. Now, that 3 represents the number of donuts in the top tens frame. So what does the 4 represent? Pause the video and tell your adult. That's right, the 4 in this expression, this addend, represents the number of donuts in the bottom tens frame. Now, then I did something different. I swapped the tens frames around so that they were upside down. Now I want you to have a look at both of these pictures. Perhaps you can pause the video and tell your adult what you notice is the same about these two pictures, picture number 1 and picture number 2, and what's different. So let's see what expression I chose to write for my second picture. Okay, can you say that expression to your adult? That's right, we can say 4 plus 3 or 4 add 3. And we can see that that 4 this time has come first in the expression. So we can see that the addends have swapped over in the expressions. And the pictures as well, the picture of the donuts, they have also swapped over. So the 4 represents the number of donuts in the top tens frame, and the 3 now represents the number of donuts in the bottom tens frame. So I hope that you were able to come up with some similar examples of your own. Okay, so I'd like you to take a good look at the picture on the screen, and I'd like you to think about what you can see in the picture. Maybe you can pause the video now and tell an adult, or you can just tell me. Okay, are you ready to use some of our sentences to describe what we can see? Maybe you can remember some of those sentences now. Let's start with the first one. Maybe you can think about it. Let's see if you're right. So I'm going to say the sentence first, and then I would like you to repeat it. There are 2 red hats and 4 blue hats. Your turn. Now I wonder if you can write an expression to match the picture. Hopefully you've got a pen or a pencil and some paper in front of you, so you can pause the video and have a go. And maybe you can think of that sentence. We can write this as, before you say the expression. Let's see if you're right. We can write this as 2 plus 4, or we can say 2 add 4. So I'd like you to repeat that sentence now. My turn. We can write this as 2 plus 4. Your turn. So have a think about what the 2 represents, and have a think about a sentence to say. So the 2 represents, and have a look at the picture to help you. Pause the video and tell your adult. Shall we see if you're right? Okay. The 2 represents the 2 red hats. Can you repeat that sentence? Now think about what the 4 represents in the picture, what the 4 shows. So again, try and say a whole sentence to your adult. Pause the video here. Okay, let's see if you're right. Fantastic. Okay, so it's my turn to say the sentence now, then you repeat it after me. The 4 represents the 4 blue hats. Well done, everybody. I wonder if there's another expression that we can write to match the picture. If you can think of a different expression to match the picture, then I'd like you to tell your adult and to write that expression down. So pause the video here and have a go. Okay, let's say some sentences and see if you were right. Now we're saying the numbers in a slightly different order, aren't we? So, my turn first, and then you repeat the sentence when I'm finished. There are 4 blue hats and 2 red hats. Your turn. Now this time we're starting with the blue hats first, before the red hats. Let's see if you got that expression right. The expression looks a little bit different, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to say the sentence, then you're going to say it. We can write this as 4 plus 2. Your turn. So have you noticed that with this expression, it looks a little bit different, doesn't it? So we can write this as 2 plus 4. And we can also say that we can write this as 4 plus 2. So what do you notice about the addends in both of the expressions? Pause the video and tell your adult. That's right, the addends have just swapped around, haven't they? So here we've got the 2 coming first, and in that second expression, the 2 is coming last, isn't it? So they've just swapped around those numbers, haven't they? Well done, if you noticed. Now, I'd like you to have a look at this picture. It's a little bit different now, isn't it? So, I'd like you to have a go at pausing the video and saying what you see, and you might think about the expression that you can write to match this picture too. And remember, you are just writing the addends in the expression and nothing else. So pause the video and have a go. Let's say a sentence. It's my turn. There are yellow stars and blue stars. Pause the video and you have a go at filling in those missing numbers. Shall we see if you're right? Let's say it together. There are 5 yellow stars and 2 blue stars. Let's see if you got that expression right. Let's say the sentence together. Ready? 3, 2, 1. We can write this as 5 plus 2. Well done. Now, I want us to say it a little bit differently, and we're going to start by having a look at the blue stars first and then the yellow stars. So your first sentence will be there are blue stars and yellow stars. So pause the video and fill in the missing numbers for me. Say the whole sentence. Shall we see if you're right? Off we go. There are 2 blue stars and 5 yellow stars. So have a go at saying this next sentence. Have a think about how the expression will be a bit different now. We can write this as, say the expression to your adult and have a go at writing it down. Pause the video here. Shall we say it together? Ready? 3, 2, 1. We can write this as 2 plus 5. Well done, everybody. Now we've got one more example to do. So again, have a look at what you can see in this picture and pause the video and tell your adult. Okay, we can see some boys and some girls, can't we? So let's have a go at filling in this sentence. There are boys and girls. Pause the video, fill in the missing numbers and say the whole sentence to your adult. Let's see if you're right. Let's say it together. 3, 2, 1. There are 3 boys and 5 girls. Okay, let's think about how we can write this. So I want you to think of your sentence now. We can write this as, say the full sentence and have a go at writing the expression. Pause the video now. Let's do it together. Ready? 3, 2, 1. We can write this as 3 plus 5. Well done if you got that right. Now there's another way that we can write the expression, isn't there? So instead of starting with the boys, we are going to start with the girls this time. So your sentence is, there are girls and boys. So say the full sentence and fill in the missing numbers. Pause the video here. Let's do it together. 3, 2, 1. There are 5 girls and 3 boys. Fantastic. Now let's see what that expression will be. So think of your sentence. We can write this as, say the expression and then write the expression. Pause the video here. Okay, let's do it together. 3, 2, 1. We can write this as 5 plus 3. So we're swapping those add-ends over, aren't we? Well done, everybody. You're doing a super job with your maths learning today. So now it's time for our practice activity. I'd like you to draw a picture of 2 different types of the same object, and you must make sure that you draw no more than 10 objects altogether. And I'd like you to write down 2 expressions, 2 different expressions to match the picture that you draw. Now I decided to draw some happy cats and some sad cats, but you can do something different, or you can do the same as me, I don't mind. So you can draw some red hats and some blue hats, or some orange cats and some black cats, or a picture of some purple sweets and some yellow sweets. It's up to you, as long as you're writing 2 expressions to match that one picture. I hope you enjoy your learning today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye everybody!